about, what the hell time is it? I have no idea. It's about 5:30.
5:36. Yep.
Yeah. Walking with the wife and the two pups today. We're on our way to patrol the town as we do in the morning. Oscar is on the scent. Come on, bud. Mom's getting away. Let's go. Come on. Come on. We'll never get anywhere if I let him sniff everything all the time. It's a good, like a mile and a half we walk every morning. Usually after the gym. Didn't gym today. Woke up early for no apparent reason. Probably just because I'm in the habit of it. Planned on sleeping until 5 or 5:30 today and woke up at 4. So, what are you going to do? That's all right because I caught Jeff Guterman playing a little 1962 Stratomatic replay. Chatted a little bit. That was nice. And then, lots of deer over there. I don't know if you guys can see them. It's pretty dark. There's a whole herd of deer. There's someone I used to know once called them a flock of deer. She loves deer. She loves them. Loses her mind. Yep. Loses her ever-loving mind for deer. It's awfully dark out here. It's alright. Can see pretty well. See better than the camera does, for whatever reason. Anyway, the reason I want to come on, first of all, I'm going to try to do this vlog every morning. Walking the dogs. We'll see how that goes into winter, but we'll try. And just share my thoughts on what's going on with the hobby, the replays, my own thoughts about whatever. I was thinking a little bit more about the discussion around Stratomatic yesterday. And ID Jester's post, Sportsman Z's post, and I watched about half of Jeff Guterman's reply. And I think Jeff plays exclusively Stratomatic, so I want to watch the rest of that to get perspective. But so one of the things that I noticed in thinking about these three different viewpoints, which honestly aligned a lot in many areas, and kind of coincided with my own that I expressed yesterday, that Strat's a really good game that could need some improvements. But what Jeff Guterman and Sportsman Z, and for that matter, I have in regards to Strat that ID Jester does not, is the effect of nostalgia. Not nostalgia for baseball or a particular season or anything else, but actual nostalgia for Stratomatic. Because we started playing it when we were teenagers. It was the first game I played. I don't know if it was the first game the other gentleman played, but I know it was the game of their youth. And it's carried on for us into adulthood. I don't know if they took breaks like I did, but I took a long break. 20 plus year break. It turns out, wasn't even a baseball fan until he was in his 30s. And I don't know when he first picked up Stratomatic. Obviously, he's a huge gaming fan. But he said he's played about 200 games of Stratomatic. I've played about... Strat hasn't been my main game this year. And I've probably played about 400 to 500 games of Strat. So, just this year. In my lifetime, more than 10,000 for sure. So probably closer to 20 or 25,000 would be my guess. And yeah, he lacks that nostalgia. Get introduced to the game as a teenager when he was really into baseball and had favorite players and was very impressionable. In fact, he wasn't even a baseball fan until he was in his 30s. So what that does is make it a really interesting review on the part of ID Jester because of that lack of nostalgia. He's looking at it, A, as a baseball fan who came into baseball in his adulthood, which means he's not going to have some of the some of the early impressions that we all develop when we're very young and latch onto things from an emotional, very energetic and exciting standpoint of like a teenager or even younger. And he's able to see the game through the lens primarily of, I would say, a board gamer rather than a baseball fan or even somebody who is a Strat fan, like the other three of us clearly are. As much as I've struggled, come on, Oscar, let's go, dude. Sometimes he just gets carried away. Yep. Come on. Come on. He wants to eat everything, this dog. So, in one way that makes ID Jester's review more valuable, wow, Stark over here, because of the cats. Damn cats. Same place we saw him yesterday, guys. Because he's reviewing it from a very unbiased place, from a very adult place. So, you know, on the other hand, if you're a Stratomatic fan, it's going to make his review a little controversial. Like, there's a couple of things. Breaking up the range and errors into two different systems for purposes of... I feel like he did that just to find 5 good things. Because maybe when he was doing, oh, the defense is cool, I like the way they did defense. Oh, and now I only have 4 good things. So, you know, I'm guessing, but maybe he broke those up just to make 5 good things. Because Strat doesn't really... Yes, they have separate range and error ratings in advanced and super advanced, but still that's part of a singular system. The system of how defense is accounted for in Stratomatic. So, you know, that was kind of silly. Even though he considered it a positive, that was kind of silly. And the other one that baffled me was talking about the system and how it was not a good system. Not, you know, in terms of how the results were accounted for, in terms of the die rolls and how you had to add, you know, +2 with 2 outs for the runner rating. You know, or -1 if the guy's held and +1 if he's not, or, you know, -1 if the throw's from right field and +1 if the throw's from left field. It's a D20 system, man. It's a D20 system, and it's become a standard gaming system in tabletop gaming. And yeah, I know there's lots of different game mechanics out there, but D20 is the basis for so many games, and so many role-playing games. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons, you know, is where D20 kind of started, and Strat beat them to it. You know, I don't know what the D20 mechanic was in War Games when Gary Gygax was developing Dungeons and Dragons with Dave Arneson and others, but you know, it's a pretty simple system where you can get 5% increments by rolling a 20-sided die. Or back then, they weren't even using 20-sided die, neither was Strat. They were using a split deck with 20 cards. Which, in retrospect, even that's kind of silly, because you could just use a deck of cards with the Royals taken out, leave the aces in, and you've got 4 series of 1 to 10, with ace through 10. So why the hell were we using split decks instead of just a good old deck of cards? But thinking random thoughts here, kind of all over the place. But so while I think ID Jester's review is super valuable because, like I said, he lacks the nostalgia of somebody who picked up Strat as a young man or a young player in their teens, like many of us did. I also think the nostalgia hurts him because he can't fall in love with something. You know, I wonder what he fell in love with when he was 13 or 14. And how it feels for him now. I'm sure he can see some of the flaws of whatever that thing may be, just like I see the flaws in Strat. But the nostalgia overrides that. It brings me back to a simpler time in my life. At the time, I couldn't wait to get home. And I'll tell you my situation. My mom and I were living in a 1-bedroom apartment in the basement of a private house for a friend of my mom's from work. Her friend's mother owned the house above us. And my mom was divorced, and my dad was an alcoholic, and all this stuff. And we could talk about that another day. That's a whole different thing. But so we were living just the two of us in this one-bedroom apartment. I'm an only child, and I had the bedroom because I was a 12 or 13 or 14-year-old boy, and she would sleep on a pull-out couch in the living room, and that was her bedroom. So I had the door for privacy, and I would go in there and leave the door open most of the time. But it was nice to come home or stay up late and put on the only channel I could really get when we didn't really have cable, so when the Yankees weren't on channel 11, or we had really basic cable, I guess. When the Yankees weren't on channel 11, the only channel I could get was TBS that would show baseball. So I would watch the Braves games. And I would sit there on my bed, and we didn't have another table, and I didn't have a desk. So I would use an ironing board, using my mom's ironing board, which was the perfect height if I set it up next to the bed at a certain setting, like with those crisscrossing flimsy arms, the thing's threatening to tip over at any minute. And I would break out the Strat cards and play there on the ironing board. And I did draft leagues, and I had one season. I had the 86 season. Man, I played in so many different ways. I did Yankees replay. I did a draft league for 8 teams, I think. And I remember Ron Hassey was the MVP because his card was sick that year. I think I tried to learn Super Advanced. I think I tried to do a full season replay, but I had no idea how to go about it. And obviously we didn't have the resources we have now with schedules and as-played lineups and all that stuff so readily available on the internet. So yeah, the nostalgia is strong for me when I pick up Strat. There's somebody walking over here. Good boy. And morning. And yeah, it's something that Jester definitely lacks when he views that game. And I wonder what his game is. I'd ask you, ID Jester, if you ever come across this, what your nostalgia moment is from when you were 13 or 14 years old. What's the thing that when you go back to it every now and then, no matter how flawed you can see it as, whoops, you still love it. And baby's dropping the water, trying to get away, putting up with my vlogging over here. She's a very, very generous and lovely wife who tolerates my 51-year-old boyishness very well. Thank you, babe. Love you. Yeah, so that was one of the things I was thinking about. And the other thing I was thinking about is, what the hell am I doing on this channel? Very honestly. What am I doing with my replays, for that matter? I'm all over the place. I didn't count, but man, I feel like I've started a dozen replays in the last 2 months. The only one I've kind of been consistent with is my 1973 payoff pitch. And I know I'm enjoying that one. I'm enjoying using Digital Diamond with it. I'm enjoying having the stats up to date and not having to do them by hand. I'm enjoying payoff pitches, the game engine. And it works really well with Digital Diamond because, oops, puppy pooping. Puppy not letting me get a bag out.
Wait.
So you're going to tear. There it is. The scene of the crime.
What the hell?
No. Anyway. Sorry. Just fixing my little widget here on the phone that was opening up. The spot where you put the charging cable for some reason opened up as I did that. Why the hell am I playing so many different things? I was trying to examine it, right? And every time I examine it, I think a different thing. And I think, because I get bored easily. I don't think that's true. I think that I like variety. That, like a lot of guys who play this game, or people, I'm sure there's a few girls out there too. I know there are, in fact. I've seen them, I've met them online, not in person. My wife played the game a few times. Can't get her to go back to it. Not her thing. It's okay. What the hell am I doing? I do get bored with some things easily, but I don't get bored with playing baseball games. I just keep going back to them. right? I get bored with a lot of other things, but not this hobby. But I get interested in other things, and then I want to see mostly other seasons. Lately, it's been other games too, but talked about that yesterday. But mostly other seasons. Like, oh man, I'm playing the '70s. This is great. This is the year I was born. This is what was going on, and learning things about that season. And then you kind of get into a rhythm. Then you get into the second week and the third week, and then it's like, all right, cool. Things are rolling along. I'm familiar with the players. I'm learning some cool things about them, like Bert Campaneris being suspended for the first week of the '73 season because he threw his bat at the pitcher in the American League Championship Series the previous year. And they suspended him, but they let him play the World Series. So they suspended him for throwing his bat, basically trying to commit a homicide. And I know he probably wasn't trying to kill the guy. It was just a heat of the moment thing. But they're like, you're suspended. Oh, you're in the World Series? Yeah, you can play. Who'll suspend start of the season? Like, that's back when baseball was cool, man. When they knew it was a game. When there weren't millions and millions of dollars on the line. At least not for the players. Maybe for the owners. So, learning cool stuff about the season. And then, like I said, you kind of get a familiarity with the season. You kind of get used to seeing the same lineups. You're kind of waiting for the next big thing to happen. You're watching the teams start to separate out a little bit as to who's good, who's bad. And I like to do a season blind. I don't like to, like it's inevitable. The A's were good in the early '70s, things like that. Like being a New Yorker, I know the Mets won in '73. And you can kind of see as you go through the cards who's going to be good, who's going to be bad. But sometimes you're surprised. Like Kansas City's playing out of their mind right now. And I haven't checked the standings for the real life season. I don't know if they were a good team. I honestly don't. I look at their cards and I think, they look middle of the pack. They're playing out of their minds right now. I believe they're first or second in the division. So you do that for a while, and then, as much fun as you're having, you start thinking, what about the '80s? What about Don Mattingly, who's my favorite player of all time? How come I'm not playing a season with him right now?
My Derek Jeter.
Or Derek Jeter. I mean, the '90s Yanks, man, that was a fun time. As a Yankee fan, why the hell? I've never played any of those seasons. Never. I played '94 and '96, I think, of all places on APBA, on the APBA computer game with Ernie Harwell all those years ago. And I don't even think I finished '96. I played them on PlayStation probably too. Or whatever the hell. I think it was PlayStation back then. Maybe it was still Sega. It might have been like Triple Play '97. But, you kind of jump around. The other problem I'm having is I keep trying to please others. And this is an ongoing problem in my life. Something I've been doing. Sometimes I think I've lost my identity because of it. With certain things to the point where I don't even know what I like. I'm so focused on trying to figure out what other people would like, especially when I'm doing something in a public space, like this channel. So I end up thinking, I got to do a project just for the channel because I'm playing '73 so much off channel, they have no idea what's going on anymore. So I'll start this. And then I start that, like I start '94, right? And I say I'm going to play every game on the channel. And then I'm overwhelmed by the prospect of playing every game, 2,300 something games on the channel. It's going to take years. And then B, I either get people jumping into the stream while I'm playing and going, oh, this is cool. Are you going to play more Strat? Or, oh, you're playing Strat Basic. Are you going to play Strat Super Advanced? Or, oh, you're playing Strat Super Advanced. I love when you play Strat Basic. Or, oh, you're playing the 80s. Are you going to play the 60s? Or, hey, what about this and what about that? And the next thing you know, I don't know what the hell to play because I'm trying to please everybody. So I was talking to Jeff this morning, Mr. Guterman, and I realized that the Strat in the way we live. Yes, we have a bedroom and other rooms, but this is the spot, man. Most people probably live in one room.
Mizzy, let
maybe
mommy
two.
dry you.
Mizzy, let mommy dry you. We're gonna wrap this up. It's been 20 minutes, but the point being, I end up trying to please everybody but myself. The only thing I've kept doing that's been... Oscar, can you stop running away while I take your harness off? You silly pupper.
Come here, Midgie.
The only thing I've been doing...
Come here. Come here.
that's really designed to please me has been 1973. I have a terrible beard right now. Yeah, look, I exist. I'm real. I'm not just a thing carrying a camera. I have a blue clothes game on. Hat, I should say. I need to shave this weekend. I'm getting a haircut, too. So the only thing I've been doing that I really wanted to do is 1973 payoff pitch and collecting payoff pitch seasons. But I do love Strat. Started 1920 last night just to see how it felt with Digital Diamond when I scored it. Rolled a game this morning while I was talking to Jeff of Strat Basic 1920 on Digital Diamond and went, all right, I like the Digital Diamond. It's definitely a thing. I think Strat Basic, which used to be my go-to, I've evolved out of it, finally. I've finally gotten back to the point where I want to play Super Advanced. So here's what I'm going to do. I said last night on the game stream for 1920 that I'm going on vacation in a week. A week from today, we're leaving for Tennessee. We're going away with friends. I'm not bringing any games with me, any baseball games. Bring some party games. We're going to hang out, have a good time. I'm going to get away for a week. So this week I'm going to play 73. Payoff pitch. That's what I'm going to stream this week up until we leave. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, which is with Digital Diamond. I'm not going to worry about the score sheet because I don't feel like doing it. It's too much. Why am I doing a physical score sheet? It's great viewing for you guys, but maybe I can figure out a way to display the Digital Diamond scoreboard or something. We'll figure that out. But for now, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. I'm going to play the games. I'm going to call the games. I'm going to have fun. And when I come back from vacation, I will have a Strat project picked out for the channel. And we'll split the time between those two projects for the rest of the year. And we'll see how it goes. I'm committing to that. I'm not going to waffle from it. I don't know which project I'm going to pick. Whichever one it is, it's going to be super advanced. And it's going to be a brand new project. I might grab a season we've played already and just restart it. So I can use it with Digital Diamond and set that all up. Whatever it is. Man, I really need to shave. Holy crap. It's not good from certain angles. Makes me look older. Old enough. So that's it. That's what we're going to do. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed the vlog this morning. My dog is going crazy right now. Turn around. See her. She's quite moist from the groundwater. We had a quick storm this morning, and she's losing her mind. But yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with me as I figure this shit out. It's hard, man. It's hard. I do want to have a good channel. I want to have a channel people enjoy, but I want to have a channel primarily that I enjoy. That's why I started it. I love calling the games. I love sharing what I like doing with people, and that's what I have to remember is my focus. And the people who like what I do will stick around and enjoy it. And the people who are looking for a specific game or something, man, there's plenty of people out there playing what you want to watch. So if you're not here for the entertainment value of my broadcasts, which are it's pretty damn good, if I say so myself. No, I don't know. I don't know how good it is. I just have fun. And I think when I'm having the most fun is when you guys will have the most fun watching. So that's all I got. See you next time.